This stopped me mid scroll on LinkedIn. A hiring manager of a fintech company posted that they had a data scientist role open for about 6 months now, and they have received 300 job applicants. They have interviewed 10 people, and no one passed through the round two. And he is exhausted. So, a job role with 6 years and almost 300 applicants, and still no one got hired, even if there was a demand. There is something unusual going on in the job market right now. 72% of employers mention that the roles related with AI is more difficult to hire than any other category. And still the demands are growing, like data science role have grown 15% from past 2 years, while overall hiring has fallen down. The World Economic Forum has predicted that AI and data role will precede its demand by 30 to 40% by the year 2027. So we have company who has demand and are ready to hire, and then we have people who are ready to get hired, and somewhere in the middle the process so broken that both sides are exhausted. This video is all about what is happening in the gap and how you can position yourself on the right side of it. Now, understanding what is broken. Being on the both side of the job market, I see there is an advice which is being skipped, which is to understand what's going on behind the job role. The person who is looking to hire is really overwhelmed and is not able to look at all the application rationally. What is actually happening behind is they have a real problem and they have a deadline to solve that problem. Their team is understaffed and their project is blocked, and they are trying to fix that problem in given amount of time and resource by trying to hire someone, and that is taking a toll on their time and efforts while they are focused on getting their problem solved. And this is not a criticism of them, this is just understanding the situation. And this understanding should guide you about all the things you do in your job search. The automation layer of this process makes it worse. So most of the large companies use softwares like ATS to select the top candidate for the job role, and it removes around 40% of the applicant just by matching the keywords, etc. And before any application comes in front of human eyes, it is already been rejected by this system. Also, many applicants are using auto-apply tools, which are blindly applying to all the job roles open without giving a thought or without even precisely applying for that particular requirement. On top of that, 20% of job roles are just ghost roles, not there for hiring, but for other purposes. But here's the thing that I want you to hold on to. The companies who are actually hiring and are struggling to hire, there are many of those. And they are struggling not because there aren't much skilled people, but they are struggling because those skilled people haven't found their way in. This gap matters because the constraint is not on your capability, it is on your approach. The signal play. Get there before everyone else. So one cliche advice you might have heard, have to be in the first 100 job applicants whenever the job is posted. But there is something else I would want to talk about, which is also important, and that is catch the signals early. You don't have to wait for a job to get posted on LinkedIn. Even if you apply in the first 100 people, you are still late. Those job roles might already have internal suggestions. Your application might get lost by similar looking applicants, even if your capability is more than others. You have to build your eye for looking for those signals. For example, you noticed a funding round. You noticed a VP of AI joining a company. It might follow with more similar roles for that team because the team is expanding. This is a signal. You notice a blog post about a new idea which the company is interested in, a new product direction. They would clearly need someone to solve the infrastructure to solve the actual problem if they already not have the people for it. You reach out not with your CV or asking about any upcoming new job roles, but you reach out by showing your attention. So you can message someone in the team like, I see you guys are interested in designing a new AI solution. I have been working on similar kind of solution myself, and I have seen the bottleneck which people face in this particular solution. I would be very interested in talking to you guys about it and to share what has worked in my particular approach and to listen how you guys are planning to do it. And that's not a cold DM. That's a very relevant question at a very relevant situation that gets you matched. And signal based outreach gets 2 to 3 times more reply than a cold DM asking about a new job. And that's not because you have hacked something, but because timing is important. And this is very low effort compared to firing 50 application randomly in random domains. And you stop being the candidate and you start being the solution or contributor. So if I put the framework into simple questions, it would be, here is the problem I have noticed you guys are facing. Here is something similar which I have built and resolved the issue, and I'm happy to share that with you and have a discussion next. I'll also give you some example so that you can think about your own situation and how you can use this in real life, because just knowing things doesn't help. So let's take an example. Let's say you are targeting a company in fintech who is publicly building this fraud detection mechanism. You find their blog, you understand what and how they are trying to build it. You create your own project around the same. You document every bottleneck you have faced and how you have approached it. Try to finish that project and also document what you could have done differently if you have got more resources and more time. Put it on GitHub and then reach out with a message like that I have been working on fraud detection model myself and have reached these bottlenecks like class imbalance, and here's I have approached it to solve it, and I would love to hear how your team is working on that. And that message shows that you pay attention, you are capable of solving problem, and it gets you started with a conversation which could lead you to somewhere rather than requesting something from them. That kind of initiative is still very rare, and that's a good as well as the bad news. And this part of the video is mostly focused on AI and data science related roles. So if you analyze data, you will find that Python is 70% of the requirement in the market. The other is machine learning, which is 57%, followed by SQL, which is 50%. Another thing which I would like to add on for, especially for data science related job, is getting experience of the cloud, whether it is Azure or AWS. It's catching up the trend. NLP, which was around 5% of the requirement, has increased up to 19% in data and AI roles. So you can focus on that. And surprisingly, the agentic AI skill, which has grown. So if I can name one skill which can land you a job quickly than other, it would be learning about agentic AI system. But saying that, it always requires a good foundation to build on those agentic AI skills. Initially in the role, it was about training a model in a notebook, but now with the speed at which the companies are moving, they require someone who can build end-to-end application into production. On top of that, you have to convey everything to non-technical stakeholder. You have to be cautious of the budget. You have to be cautious of the time, and also very cautious of the product whenever it gets updated, or if it broke down, how do you fix it and how do you monitor it for its long-term working. And one important thing I have noticed in our data science AI engineer kind of job roles is that the more importance is given on the fact that what has gone wrong into a project, how it broke, why it broke, and what you did to fix it, and how would you make all infrastructure or architecture better the next time, learning from what happened. And that is something which cannot be just learned from a course. That is something which you will have when you have actually built thing and have struggled resolving the issue which arise by building things. So along with all the job search advices you have got, I wanted to add this part because I have seen this and I have implemented this and I have seen that this gets better result. The market is real, the demand shortage is documented, and it's not going anywhere soon. And the process, the ATM system, the auto AI appliers, the ghost jobs, and the volume game is cooked. And this is one of the easiest way to crack the system by actually being the solution. And you don't need to be the most qualified person in the pile. You just have to be the one who cannot be ignored. And if you want more information on what to build month on month, specifically focused on data science and AI engineer related jobs, I can work on that video next. You just have to mention that in the comment section. If this video has even helped you a bit, drop a comment and I'll read them all. Thank you for watching. Bye.